Scorpio, welcome to a weekly tarot reading that is for August 3rd through the 9th. It's Raina here. Can you tell that I don't do these very regularly because I don't even know how to say that. So I just got a new tarot deck and I've been taking it on a test run, test drive, if you will. And it's called the Light Seers Tarot. I like to always show like the box. This is what the box looks, but the booklet is smaller so I can show you. And I love that teal kind of color. And this is the back of the card, which I also dig. So I'm like kind of nervous because I feel like I already did Scorpio, and I'm not sure if I just didn't post it. And I'm like, oh well, you'll get a bonus reading, I guess. But anywho, so I'm using the Emerald Divination tarot spread for this, and I will definitely I don't think I ever got this before. How cool is that? I love how different the colors, the backgrounds are, which really makes you feel like you've got something, you know, it kind of differentiates each card instead of it being just a hodgepodge. I mean, kind of like similar. Certain cards I've been getting over and over again. And one of them has been the Star card, which is good because maybe a lot of people are realizing their dreams at this time, and for whatever reason. Oh, speaking of that, I just wanted to give you the heads up about a full moon that's coming up on the 3rd, which is the intention for the starting date of this reading, and it's going to be at 11 degrees of Aquarius. So this is an angular house to Scorpio, and you know, I think it might have been an astrology reading that I did for you just now that I haven't posted yet, and maybe that's what I was getting confused with. Okay, so if that's true, there are 2 readings that I'm going to be posting tonight, God willing. So the area where this full moon is taking place for you, Scorpio, is the 4th house of home and family. If you're born in November, if you're born in October, it's more likely going to be in your 3rd house, which is the house of the mind. So full moon in the 3rd house can be very good for aha moments, coming to some realization about something. Maybe something that you have kind of not really wanted to look at. Another thing is that the 3rd house can be siblings, it can be aunts and uncles or cousins, and there may be one of these relationships where you have had enough, where you have seen this person in a true light, and you realize you can't have a relationship with them. You've given them many chances, and it's just like not happening. So it depends on, or maybe a neighbor, because this could be, you know, neighbor. If there's a move, then you may finally have come to the end of, you know, being attached to your community. And I don't think that it is often said enough that you can be attached to your community. Maybe that sounds a little bit bizarre, but it's not just about the house that you live in, but the area that you live in. You may really like it and not be done with it. So this could be a time when you're finally done with it, and it makes it easier to move. Okay, so the first position is, did I say this is the Emerald Lotus Divination spread? Okay, in case not sure if I said that, but just, I didn't invent this spread, somebody else did. Let me give credit where it's due. I'm just sticking a tarot card in here so that I can make this less lopsided. Okay. Your week as a whole. What could be happening this week? Sorry about the tight camera angle. I'm getting a new tripod fairly soon. Page of Pentacles. This is, I really like this particular image. And the green around it, because, you know, green can be growth, prosperity. Page of Pentacles can be starting a new job, being somehow involved with something that has money-making opportunity attached to it. This is the card of the student, so if that is something that is, you know, playing out for you right now, then you're starting school or getting organized to start school. And but this has like fresh energy for some kind of money-making opportunity. Something unexpected that will arise. King of Cups. This can be someone who comes in. It's funny, it looks like he's got a fish around his neck, so maybe King of Cups is specifically connected to Pisces. So if there's a Pisces person in your life that you haven't heard from for a while, maybe they will give you a call or text you, what have you. This can be a person that you meet who is a spiritual teacher, and that, you know, you kind of meet in a very random sort of way, but it was actually preordained, perhaps, because this person is at the top of their game. So if they're either a spiritual teacher, a healer, something along those lines, and it may be in a very unusual way that this person comes into your life, but it happens nonetheless. How can you stay grounded and balanced? So this is an advice card. 8 of Wands. I would say to expect that things may come very rapidly. When I was doing your astrology for August, in August, Uranus goes retrograde. I can't remember the exact date. And Uranus is in your opposite sign of Taurus. And it's going retrograde at 10 degrees. So for those of you who are born in October, this is going to be, maybe, I'm not sure if it'll be 100% of you, but in October, but a good portion of you. This will be in your 6th house of work. And so those of you who have already had Uranus transiting the 6th house for a while, you may already have experienced some unexpected developments in the work area of life. And this is, so let's say you were laid off, on furlough, whatever you want to call it. You know, you have to be prepared for anything that you'll get called back. So maybe the Page of Pentacles is hearing a message about a job, but you have to be like ready for it. If you're somebody who has been kind of chilling and, you know, you're not ready, you know, you're not prepared to go back because there's certain things you have to get sorted out, you could be left in the lurch. So look alive, you know, snap to it, and, you know, be on the lookout for sudden movement. I always think of the 8 of Wands as there is this sense of perhaps in the past a lull in the action, and then all of a sudden everything starts to, you know, roar back. I'm going to actually look in this tarot book that came, the guidebook that came with it. The author is Chris Ann. I guess if this is a woman, she doesn't, yeah, it's a woman, but she doesn't use her last name. But she must be the artist too, because they don't, yeah, she has a graphic design community, and they, company, And they have a picture of her. She looks rather young, so I don't know. But boy, talk about talented, huh? If she wrote this book as well. So this is what she says about the Eight of Wands. Speed, velocity, travel, making split-second decisions. That's what I was referring to. An upcoming positive resolution, haste, good news. Action. You know those moments in life that feel like a sprint? This type of speedy energy is at play. It's inspirational, it's fiery, it's positive, and it's now. If you have a gut feeling that needs to be acted upon, listen to it. With all this movement, avoid being swept along by an unpredictable tide. By having clarity about your desires and direction, harness this beautiful window of swift opportunity. And then she says something kind of what I was hinting at. Oh no, that's in shadow, so I'm not going to. But she has an affirmation. It's go time. I fall into the flow of this quickening energy and I swiftly face my desires head on. And sometimes a fixed sign like Scorpio doesn't really appreciate that kind of spontaneity. You might want kind of a gradual, kind of like dipping your toe into something if you've had a hiatus, not just going back full time or what have you. But it is what it is. And if it happens, that will be what was meant to be. 4, important emotion I will feel this week. I've been getting this kind of thing. I don't really like the wording of that. I'm going to change it to important. Gosh, what is the word that I would say? Important lesson that I will learn this week rather than emotion, because some of these cards really don't relate to emotions. The Knight of Pentacles is a perfect example. This is actually a card associated with Taurus, and I really like the artistry in this one with all the colors. The Knight of Pentacles is a workhorse energy, so it's not, this is probably as far as from emotion as you would get. What I would say is important lesson or vibe that will be here for you, energy that is here for you, and this is about really getting down to brass tacks. Maybe settling into a routine again if you have been off. Because with the Eight of Wands, talking about springing back into action, you may have you might be a bit rusty with that routine. I do think that a lot of Scorpios like routine, but it's just that you're human, and you may be used to not having a routine all of a sudden, and then you're having to get back into it. So if you get any kind of message about going back to work, then perhaps you can start to set your clock again for the time that you normally, even if you're going to go back in 2 weeks, to get your body ready for it, so that it's not just at the last minute that you do it. And going to bed earlier, anything that you need to buy or prepare for, getting that all ready so that you can hit the ground running. 5, something that will inspire me. What could be better than this card, the Star card? Maybe having a dream come true. And maybe it's also, this can be like a message from a loved one who has crossed over, Scorpio. So there's a possibility that you may see a sign. And let's say you have been a bit agitated about not being, about not working, and you hear back from your employer or maybe a new job, and you feel like your prayers have been answered, And then you get this sign that reminds you of somebody that you love who is in the spiritual dimension. And you almost say to yourself, I wonder if so-and-so ordained this. I wonder if they had a hand in making this happen. I remember many years ago, when I was in my 20s, and somebody that I was friendly with was hit by a stray bullet, and he was in his 20s as well, and it was like quite a shock that somebody that young passed away, and he wasn't the intended target. And I remember getting a job it was like right in that same time frame. I remember, like, just seeing the want ad, and I almost like kind of, when I was talking to the person who worked there, because they wanted somebody who was bilingual, and I said, well, you probably don't want me, right? Because I'm not bilingual. And it was almost like I was talking them out of it, and I ended up getting the job. And I always thought it was because of this person who had crossed over. I still believe that to this day. So maybe you have a similar experience like that. So the next position is how my spirit guides speak to me this week. Now, this is a thing that this is one of the other ones I'm tweaking, and I'm saying, instead of that, I'm saying how will, what message do my spirit guides have for me, which you could say is the higher message or the spiritual message versus the mundane message. This is 7 of Wands. I think this is the first time I've gotten this one. Isn't that beautiful? It's so funny because usually the 7 of Wands has kind of a defensive posture to it. And you see this woman in her Manipura, the 3rd chakra, which is the power chakra, and that's probably why they have the sun there, the yellow, which is associated with the 3rd chakra. The 7 of Wands is about standing your ground, okay? And I really like this because it's kind of like, in the other decks they show like the defensive, or some of the other decks they show like the person with the wand like fending off an attack or something like that. But in one of my decks they show this flame, and I call it the eternal flame, because I talk about this. I immediately connect it to this idea of this dream that we hold, that we want to manifest, and having the vision and the belief in ourselves to make it happen. And how this can involve somebody else that we feel the need to defend is that some people are going to feel threatened by our dream. And so we have to either, the number 7 is kind of like a solitary number. And so to me, it's almost like tending to that inner flame, but not necessarily, kind of blabbing to others about it, because they could try to extinguish that flame because they don't have their own dream. So just keep that in mind, because to me, that is the ultimate defense, is something that is not even something that you're doing on an outward level. It's kind of like you're protecting your energy, in a sense, protecting your dreams. The 7th position, the last position, is how to best support yourself this week. And this is the 4 of Pentacles. You see the way that she's kind of clutching that ginormous coin purse. And this is a card of financial stability, or, 4 is a number of stability, but also this is a card of security. So if for some reason you're starting like your own business, and even if you have been called back and you're kind of like doing two things at once, you still may want to keep your finances in a very protected kind of a way. Sometimes, I mean, I'm speaking of myself here, it's like if you start to have a money flow going again, then it's like, okay, now it's, here, and I'm just going to just, go on a spending spree. And it's like, no, I mean, this could be the best time to save, because now you have something to actually save. And not in a fear-based way, but in a way that kind of speaks to what the Knight of Pentacles is all about. Scorpio, which is a card of, being, into the, just kind of getting into that work ethic. And that means that maybe you don't have as much free time, and you'll be able to, so you can curb your spending very easily. It won't feel like it's hard. I really don't see many Scorpios as spendthrifts, to be honest with you. I think unless you have a lot of Sagittarius energy, or Libra, I should say too, on the other end of things. But in general, I think Scorpios are pretty shrewd in that sense. But this is a good money reading from what I can see here. But also there is an emotional component about making your dreams come true. And I like it. I like it a lot, Scorpio. I hope that you enjoyed this. If you would like a personal reading, the link to my ordering page is below. Thank you so much for watching this. Take care. Bye.